When the gates opened and Max B stepped into sunlight for the first time in 16 years, the moment felt like the climax to a saga that had been building since that courtroom in Hackensack. On November 9th, 2025, the Harlem rapper exited prison and walked into a new chapter of his story. Free, still a brand, still a legend, ready or not. Here was no grand stage or major announcement waiting, just family, close friends, the flash of cameras, and one of his oldest collaborators, French Montana, who greeted him with raw emotion. "My brother really came home on my B-day," or "walked it down, no more free you."
Back together.
They finally did it. They finally did it. They finally did it. They finally did it. We're going to Morocco. We're going to Morocco. We're going straight to Paradise. We're going straight to Paradise Kingdom. Yes, sir. Boy. Yes, sir.
It didn't take long for Max to reacclimate. He was spotted at a New York Jets game right after his release, saying, "I feel righteous, I feel good, I'm grateful, thankful, God is good." He looked like a man who had carried his time, accepted it, and was now ready to re-enter the arena. For the music world, this was a signal. Max's name trended across social feeds, mixtape talk, studio reconnections, hints of a tour already floating in posts. The wave, once an underground pulse, was gearing up to break again. But the freedom has conditions. He's reportedly on parole for 5 years, the legal leash still shy but present. So while the door is open, he isn't entirely off the clock, and that adds a layer of urgency. The message is clear. Time's moving fast, and Max knows he's got to strike while the wave is still crashing. But before Max was freed, the internet or the streets really didn't know the real details of this case and how a woman he met in South Carolina would cost him 16 years in prison. Let's get into it. Enter Gina Conway, dancer, fast life, faster choices. She meets Max, moves to New York, and for a minute, they're orbiting the same apartment, the same clubs, the same dreams. It's messy from the jump, jealousy, other partners, and a love language made out of cash advances and late-night arguments. They break up, make up, break up again. But Gina's proximity matters. The circle around Max, brothers, uncles, friends, drivers, will soon overlap with another circle that's moving serious money the wrong way. And that overlap is the red dot before the bang. Now meet Alan J. Plowden, polished, flashy, and neck-deep in a mortgage and mail scheme that turned banks into ATMs. He used fake closings, shell names, and stored value cards, SVCs, to pull out six-figure stacks a few hundred at a time. It's clever until it isn't. Big withdrawals in the Bronx and Manhattan, bags of money, late-night meets with people you don't fully trust. The whole thing attracts heat. Feds, informants, and the kind of attention that never leaves quietly. Riding with Jay is David Taylor, a big-bodied presence and a Florida connection. They're in and out of New York, visible, spending, and getting noticed. One afternoon in September 2006, Jay takes Gina on a blow-the-budget shopping sprint in Jersey. He's careless with the cash, generous with the bags, and casual enough to hand her a room key at the Holiday Inn in Fort Lee. You don't need to be a detective to see where this goes. Someone hears about the money, someone sees an opening, and someone thinks they can grab the prize while Jay is out clubbing. That night, Gina meets Max near the Lincoln houses. Words are exchanged, jealousy, pride, and a key card hit the table. A plan starts to breathe. From there, everything accelerates. Gina and Max's stepbrother, Kelvin Leardam, link up with a driver. The route gets messy, the timing gets worse, and by the time they reach the hotel, Jay is already back. They push toward the room. A woman answers. The door opens, a gun appears, and the situation slides from robbery to tragedy in seconds. David Taylor steps into the room and in the chaos is fatally shot. Whatever money they thought they'd grab that night, it wasn't there, not the way they expected. They leave with clothes, a watch, some cash, a victory that feels like a loss. Here's where greed trips over evidence. Instead of disappearing, Jay moves sloppy. He's seen in hallways. He fixates on the money bag. The police show up, and the real-time bomb is the tech, a Toshiba laptop and storage devices tied to his fraud operation, mortgage paperwork, mailbox rentals, card numbers, the kind of receipts that turn rumors into convictions. Investigators now have two crimes pulling at each other, a hotel room robbery turn body in Jersey and a federal-level money pipeline pointed at Jay. He cooperates. Cops start asking about Gina, and eventually the circle tightens around everyone's favorite name to say on camera, Max B, detectives reach Max. In the earliest phase, he's surprisingly open, sharing addresses, places Gina might be, even letting police search for her. That helpful posture won't save him later because once Gina is arrested, she talks. High, drunk, scared, but talking. Her version paints Max as the architect who wanted someone else to do the dirty work. From there, the machine starts. Warrants, arrests, bail numbers that look like phone numbers, and a storyline that's about to split the street and the studio down the middle. Trials are slow until they're not, Gina testifies. The defense pokes holes, intoxication, inconsistencies, identification issues, and the decision to try Max and Kelvin together. Why no severance? Why no gun recovered? Why did a key witness fail to pick out the shooter in photo arrays, but later point from the stand? These questions hover like static, but the jury hears conspiracy, robbery, kidnapping, and a felony body, and the verdict lands heavy. Appeals will come later. The time starts now. Vibe. While the courtroom locks in, the radio explodes. Jim Jones drops "We Fly High" ballin', and the hook becomes a sports chant, a club echo, a pop culture reflex. The Giants mime jumpers in the end zone. Jim's stock soars. And in jail, Max hears a song he says he helped write become the soundtrack to other people's success. That anger turns into interviews, DVDs, and hours of wild talk. The smoke becomes a fire when Max accepts bail money in exchange for signing over his publishing, a deal he would later call the biggest mistake of his career, and Jim would later frame as simply business. Years after, both sides would trade words about who owned what, who deserved what, and who took advantage of who. What made the Max versus Jim saga so sticky wasn't just the insults, it was the receipts. Listeners could hear Max's melodic fingerprints all over that era. And when he talked, it wasn't industry polite, it was reckless, funny, and viral. Blogs ate it up, street DVDs immortalized it. The more Jim shrugged, the more Max pushed. Suddenly, a Harlem internal beef turned into a referendum on loyalty, contracts, and credit. Rumors swirled about what was written, who got paid, and whether that bail for or grimy. Years later, clips would pop up where Jim suggests he's matured, even hinting he might have given publishing back, or that he could, but those bits live mostly in short interviews and social posts. They're part revelation, part rumor. Worth hearing, not gospel. In 2016, something surprising happens. Max's mammoth 75-year sentence gets cut after a plea to aggravated manslaughter. That didn't make him free, but it made freedom imaginable. Industry friends start whispering timelines, supporters talk about 2025 like it's circled on a calendar, and then it lands. November 2025, Max B walks out after roughly 16 years, served on the revised term, photos, posts, headlines. The internet does what it does, and Harlem smiles a little. So what now? In recent months, Max called into interviews from inside, sounding calmer, focused, talking about moving past old drama. He's hinted at burying the hatchet, at least from his side. On the other end, Jim publicly wrestled with the idea, saying he's petty, he doesn't forget, and he's not interested in making anyone comfortable for the sake of optics. That's not a truce. That's two men staring at the same history from different seats. As for the publishing rumor, clips suggest movement, fans speculate, but unless one of them drops paperwork, treat it like a maybe, not a memo. A lot of people chased the bag in this story. Some found it. Most lost more than they got. Jay Plowden ran a clever scheme until a laptop told on him. David Taylor paid the ultimate price. Gina Conway traded statements for shorter time and will forever be footnoted in a case that changed careers. Kelvin Leardam's name is stamped to a night he may say he didn't own, and Max, gifted, chaotic, magnetic, lost a decade and a half of prime time for a robbery he wasn't physically in the room for, but was convicted of orchestrating. In music, Jim made a stadium record and a power move that fans still debate. In life, both men grew older, while the internet looped their youngest mistakes.